longevity is coming up a
Mhm,
lot in the world right now. Last time we went out to dinner, we talked about Brian Johnson,
mhm,
not the Brian Johnson we love and know at Nutrition World, the physician,
mhm,
but the other Brian Johnson who's really talking about never dying, right?
mhm.
And so a lot of people are talking about the cellular health, cellular metabolic age, and reversing aging. We've had some very interesting conversations when it comes to longevity and living a full life. Like, I would love to hear from you. I got a couple questions for you, but like, what's your thoughts on aging as you are 67,
Mhm.
68? Like, what have you learned, and like, why do you focus on longevity? And like, just any advice you have for people, whether they're 20 years old or 50 years old and they want to live a longer and more healthy life.
Well, you know me well enough to know that I have an unusual attitude toward death,
Mhm.
and that is that I don't really have a huge desire to live a long time, and I actually think I'm not going to live that much longer, and it doesn't bother me. And one of the reasons I got to that point was I hurt so bad for 3.5 years with my hips that actually was not diagnosed that they could be fixed. I thought that part of my life would be over. I was soon to be in a wheelchair. I was walking with a cane all the time and walkers at night. And it was the greatest blessing in my life
Mhm.
because it made me know how impermanent everything is
Mhm.
and how everything is on loan to me. And whether you agree to that or not,
Mhm.
it's on loan to you and me and you. We're carrying nothing with us. And graceful aging is really what I like.
Mhm.
And I don't have any problem with the fact that I have to go to the bathroom 4 times at night anymore. I've come to peace with loving this body as it's decaying. And I've heard for years about a sage who his whole life lived with the image of a sword above his head that was that was connected to spider webs, and it made him think, what a any moment. So he lived every moment to the best he could and
Mhm.
lived in the moment more
Mhm.
than he lived for tomorrow's moment. And when I think about the fact that everybody who died yesterday had plans for today.
Yeah.
Every single one of those people did.
Mhm.
We need plans. That's how we pay our bills and we get places.
Mhm.
But you and I sitting here, this is the only thing that's really happening right now. Nothing else except the world spinning in a circle. So that's work. That is work to be done. And I have had to put work into that philosophy in order to be more comfortable. I will say the IV ketamine has helped me a lot.
Yeah.
I've got about 90 sessions under my belt.
Mhm.
And I do lose my ego under those. And I actually did it first for my hip pain, but then I found out what amazing other benefits it had, which is neuroplasticity,
Mhm.
which is how to make the brain work optimally as we age. So I'm hopefully getting two benefits out of that.
Yeah, I think you said something two profound things. Presence gives you that presence of this
Mhm.
given moment right here, right now. We are not guaranteed tomorrow, and to come to that realization as you said, the work. Me and Mon and Erica and Lauren talk about it, like going through a healing process. It's not just a flip of the switch. It's you can have these profound moments of
Mhm.
awareness and consciousness, but to really make that part of who you are, to create those new neuroplastic neural circuitries that this is who I am, it takes work, it takes time.
Mhm.
Okay, it's going into a quiet space nearly every day, every couple of days to really center and feel into that.
Well, I like the fact you said that because solitude is the medicine for my soul. And
100%.
it doesn't happen very well because I'm so freaking busy, but then I make sure it happens. Even if it's driving to the gym in the morning. That means not picking up my cell phone, not watching TV, not listening to music. Who is this in here? Let me talk to
Mhm.
him because he's talking to me, but I haven't been listening because I've been too busy doing other things.
Yeah, we get these little taps on the shoulder when we're not paying attention, and if we
Mhm.
don't listen to those taps on the shoulder, it becomes a frying pan over the head, and
That's
then we
right.
have some really debilitating things. Like, hey,
Mhm.
God, universe, I'm listening. I'm going to go in. And the other piece that you said was, I think about you said aging gracefully or graceful aging, right? We've used that term for a long
Mhm.
time. I'm in my 30s. You're in your 60s. You have a little bit more ownership and understanding of the aging process than I do. But we've seen it through people that have gone through this work, even in the short time of being here 9 years. I can definitely see people that start this process later and start this process a little bit earlier, moving from their 50s or 60s or 60s or 70s. I got showed a long time ago like an X and Y axis, where the X axis is our time of life, like as we
Mhm,
age, right? And the Y axis is our vitality or energy or health. And so as we age, typically most people, what happens? We start off in this upper top corner, and then as we age, it just slowly starts to get down. You see that through the years. People just,
mhm,
they don't have the energy, they don't have the sleep, they don't have, or they don't have the muscle strength, they're having all sorts of issues, and then just slowly they bottom out and then they eventually die. Where if we do these things over our lifetime to support ourselves, aging gracefully, what that looks like is the people that are 7 years old running Ironman out
mhm.
there, the 80, 90-year-old woman who's spending quality time in their garden or with their grandchildren, and they have appropriate vitality and
Mhm.
appropriate
Appropriate.
energy. And then at the end, and this may kind of seem a little grim, it's a fall off at
There
the
you
end,
go.
right? It's like, oh, my time here on earth is done. And so it's not this like slow deterioration. It's like this,
Mhm,
hey, I'm living my life. Yes, I'm not able to do what I was able to do when I was 20, now that I'm 70, but like my vitality is actually really there. And that's always been like a visual for me to like take care of myself in the
mhm,
present moment. And most importantly, as you said, enjoy this moment that we have right now. I think having children, having a career, and having just life in general, it's really brought me to that point of like, this is the only moment that we have. And it's hard because we got a lot of outside stuff that tends to
mhm.
pull us away.
Well, you have perspective that, again, probably the minority of people do. And, the more I learn, and Ram Dass has been kind of one of my leading teachers of my life.
That's what I was going to
Okay.
last right there, baby.
And he spoke for decades, and as he went into a wheelchair and as he had a stroke, I was with him for many years. And it's really the ego is what has all the fear, and the soul has no fear. So it's the work is returning to the source of our soul,
Mhm,
and that may not function perfectly in the scheme of a normal traditional religion church
mhm.
theory, but it functions perfectly for me in my
Yeah.
spirit. When I'm in ketamine, I really go in there to return to the source
Mhm.
because I can feel the source in ketamine probably closer than I can most of my other times.
Yeah.
And that gives me such peace. And I read this morning about Gene Hackman
Yeah.
and how the fear he had of aging. I did not realize that till I read this morning. And he hated to go out in public the last many years because I look so old, he kept saying. And I don't want to be there. I
Hmm.
don't want to be there.
Yeah.
I look good right now for my age. Well, I'm not always going to be like this.
Damn right you do.
And I look pretty pathetic for about a year and a half when I couldn't get out of my car to get to the store. And I came to peace with the fact I'm still a good essence of a being, even if I'm walking with that cane.
Yeah.
I don't have to be a superstar.
No, you're perfect as you are.